Hey, good morning to Now Conversations, which is Conversations with Authors. I'm Lisa Marie Garcia, and I'm part of the Now Publishing team. And I actually wonder if we should be calling this Coffee Conversation with Authors because it is Saturday. Yes. Hello, Vera Thomas. Thank you for being here. Do you have your coffee as well?
Yes, I do. Yes,
I'll tell you what. I just admit, I must admit, I am addicted to caffeine. And so I'm okay with that. I've accepted that for myself. How about you, right?
Same here. Same here. I can't function without my coffee.
Especially on a Saturday a.m.
Especially on a Saturday a.m.
Right? I know. I used to have the rule that I did that.
But you know, oh, you're breaking up again. You're breaking up again.
I am.
No, it's not.
Something.
I tell you, technology. You're breaking. No.
No. Yes.
No.
Test.
No.
1, 2, 3.
No, you're breaking. There's breakage. We bind this now.
Can do. All right.
No. Try your headset.
Hi there. Are you there?
Yes, that's so much better.
You know what, though? It is not my mic. It is not my laptop. It's either my internet, which never normally has problems, or it's StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
So it may happen again, and I apologize to anyone that's watching. We'll just try to do our best. And you and I, as believers, probably aren't too surprised, right?
Exactly.
I know. So we'll do our best. Hello. Good morning, Gerald. And I know my friend Gio was on the line as well. But let's get to the meat of things in case we have this issue again. So this show is Conversations with Authors. Since I've had almost 7 years now experience in the publishing industry and published umpteen books and worked with umpteen clients as authors, I know those questions of the real behind the scenes and the dig in that authors have to do. And so I'm excited to just have a 30-minute coffee conversation with authors from all over the country, even outside the country. We have some guests scheduled to ask questions that people that aren't authors want to know. So I'm very proud to have Vera Thomas with us, who I think that it wasn't 14 books you've been a part of, 15? Am I off by one?
Off by one, 16.
Oh, okay, so I don't know anyone that has been a part of that many books, number one. And number two, I think you have a breadth of experience unlike others. I just want to say a couple things about you so that the viewers know who you are. You're a life coach, speaker, trainer, mediator, And what I love about you, because I've read some of your poetry, is a poet laureate. I'll call you that, but just amazing poetry that you've written. And you didn't just wake up yesterday and start doing this. You've been doing writing and publishing and doing the great purposeful work you've done for years and years. So that's just a one sentence about you, and I'm excited to talk with you and stop talking myself. So welcome, Vera, to Now Conversations.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, and we talked about, I don't know if this got on the live stream. Oh, okay, I am on, yeah. I'm like, am I on? I'm on, I think. We talked about that we have our coffee, and we're big caffeine people. So hopefully anyone that's watching, have your coffee and just enjoy the next 20 minutes, right?
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
So one of the questions I'd like you to answer is, as you look back of your 15 books that you've been a part of, what do you think is the most difficult part of writing a book, beginning to write in your author journey?
Well, you know, English and writing has always been a strength for me. And I remember in 10th grade, my English teacher, he was so encouraging of me at a time when I really didn't have a whole lot of confidence, and he would just praise my writing. And so English and writing has just come natural for me. When sitting down to write a chapter for a book, the first thing I do is pray and ask, I pray and ask God to lead me, guide me, and direct me in my writing. And once I start, it just kind of flows for me. And so I find it rather easy to be able to sit and write. And someone once said, write like you talk. And so that was something that was strength for me, to just think, write like you talk, and then correct anything that may be in error. And so for me, it hasn't been very, very hard to write.
I love that answer. And as you were talking, and because this is our first show, I'm very excited that you can be a part of it. I want to make sure that we're on screen, and I'm only seeing the banner.
I'm only seeing the banner as well.
I know. I wonder if, oh darn, I can't. And I see the layouts. Sorry, excuse me, that I'm seeing the layouts and it's telling me what to do. And of course I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But I'm not showing how I can get us to be there.
And I don't know how to do it either, but I'm definitely just seeing the banner.
I know, me too. Let me see if I can take the
oh, I know what you need to do, possibly.
What do I need to do?
Remove the banner.
Okay, so remove the banner. Okay, yes, so I'm at the banners. Okay, let's see. I'm there. I'm not sure how to remove it.
Just click on
banners.
Go to and actually, it looks like it's a part of your backdrop. If you go to the very top of the list in your brand.
Right, brand. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you go to the top where the overlays.
Yeah, I've got the brand color, the theme, the logo, the overlays. Oh, okay. So here we go.
There we go. Yes.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Gosh, I got to remember that. Well, for the first part of the show, it was a podcast, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, great. All right. So let me, what was the last thing you said? Because it was very key. I'm sorry.
I said,
you said, write like you talk.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So 100%.
You're breaking up again. You're breaking up again.
Internet, we've been in and out. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, and you are going in and out. So
it's my internet. All right. So one of the things that we tell authors are you need to only write about what you know.
Absolutely.
We will have authors that will come and say, well, I worked in this industry for 2 years. I had a specific incident and I want to write a book on it. And, so of course we dig and we ask more questions, and we find that's really not what they know. That's not really their expertise or experience.
Exactly.
So like you said, you know, write like you would talk, write like a conversation, just like in media, what we're doing right now, just having a conversation.
Yes.
It is write what you know. So I love that tip. That's a fantastic tip. Um, Speaking about, you know, if people should write a book or not, many clients come to us and say, I don't know that I have enough content. You know, I don't know that I've lived enough. Like we'll have a 20 something that will say, I don't know if I'm prepared to write a book or not. And there are 20 somethings that are prepared
Yes.
and have more than enough content. And there are 20 somethings that don't. And I think that it really maybe isn't even specific to the 20 somethings. It could be in any, right, in any age group. But would you say that everyone can write a book, or, you know, if given help, or do you think everyone should write a book? Kind of tell me what your thoughts are on that idea.
My thoughts are everyone has a story. And if we can look at our own life experiences, they may be positive experiences, travel, or educational experiences, or even personal life experiences. Everybody has a story. And if we can glean from our life experiences and start journaling, if a person starts journaling, then that can be the beginning of them writing a book.
I love that. That's so true. And as you're talking about the journaling part of it, which I would say a very high percentage of our client authors are journal, do write. You know, they come to us sometimes with a spiral notebook with a bunch of writing in it, or pieces of paper, or, you know, some do come with the electronic Word documents with the writing all over the place. The benefit of that obviously helps them organize their thoughts and do downloads. But the other part of it, most recently in the news, is that therapeutic part, right?
Yes, yes.
Of
It's very
journaling.
cathartic. Yes.
Yes. And yeah, I've actually started my high school senior into journaling. She tested one of our books out. Can you hear me still?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Okay, she tested our books out and then, you know, really found it to be beneficial. So I love that. And again, you know, I want these conversations with authors to encourage people that, you know, have this desire in their heart to write. Over the years, they've had it, and more so, I'm sure you've heard this. Tell me if you've heard this or not. I meet with people weekly that say, people have told me I need to write a book. Have you had people tell you that
Yes,
your whole life?
yes, yes,
Right?
yes, yes,
Right. So, you know, so then, okay. So then take that first step, which might be journaling.
yes,
I love that
absolutely.
we're talking about that. So tell us, let's dig in a little bit to some of the books that you've written, maybe some of your favorite books, or a topic, maybe you share that experience, and then maybe share your not so favorite of the 15 that you've been a part of.
Well, actually, I've enjoyed writing each one of those books, and I didn't actually start authoring books until 2 years ago, and it happened that I had gone to a conference, and Eric Swanson, the Habitude Warrior, was doing an anthology, and I was invited to be a part of that. And that anthology is 13 books itself. It's a part of it's 13 Steps to Riches, and we're taking the principles in Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
There are 13 principles, and so we're writing a book to represent each one of those principles. We are now on book 11. So we're almost finished with the series. And then he has a trilogy called David and Goliath. And I really liked that because what we were doing was looking at the Davids and the Goliaths in our lives, the times when we had obstacles like Goliath, you know, and we had things that blocked us or things that tried to stop us or things that fought against us. And so in that particular trilogy, I use the attitudes and behaviors that we have and the kinds of things the guilt, the doubt, the worry, the fear, I use those as Goliaths in our lives. And then I also talked about where David is concerned, how he has such a strong faith. and he trusted God no matter what. And he relied on
Right.
him. And David was the apple of God's eye, but yet David had many, many sins. And so for
Right.
us to understand that no matter what,
Right.
God still loves us. And one of my favorite books is called Parenting with Uncommon Courage. And in that book, I talk about how some tips and some ideas of things that I did because I raised my son as a single mom, having been in a domestic violent marriage. I left my ex-husband when my son was 6 months old, and I had to raise him as a single mom. At the time when I left my husband, of course, all the confidence and self-esteem and all the things that I had worked so hard to acquire within my life, I lost it all within that marriage. And so I had to rebuild and reconnect with myself. But I also recognized that I needed to instill greatness in my son. And so the tips and the things that I did to make him, he's one of the most positive people you'll ever meet, and I thank God for that. And so in Parenting with Uncommon Courage, there are all of the authors work with children in one way or the other. And so that book means a lot to me. And I actually started my chapter with one of my poems that I would like to share, if you don't mind.
Go for it. Go for it.
Children are people too. Show them the good inside of you. Give them praise for tasks they do. See their light shine bright through the light which comes from inside of you. Children need all we desire so much: the love, the hug, the kiss, the tender touch. The attitudes we express to them are the messages they learn to send. From examples like you and me, our children grow to be what they see. Do you show hatred, indifference, or love? Do you yell and scream no matter what in spite of? Have you shared kind words with your child today? Have you truly listened to what they had to say? Or did you just ignore and continue on your way, hoping they get the message and go somewhere and play? Children are an extension of all that we are, and the most valued God-given gift by far. There are so many things they must grow to understand. We must guide and lead them with loving, outstretched hands. Teach and treat children as people too. See their light shine bright through the light which comes from inside of you.
Thank you. And I've heard that before. I love that poem. I'd like us to be able to offer after the show, if anyone is interested in that poem in an ebook, we'll reach out to us, and we'll have Vera connect with you and provide that. Is
Okay.
that
Yes.
some links? I mean, it's one time to hear it, but to stay on the words and the phrases, I love it. And like I said, I've heard that poem before, and I'll tell you what struck me the first time you shared that with me was that I was very fortunate to have a wonderful dad who is still around. My mom and dad are still very active and healthy and living. But I remember at the baby shower that was held at their house when I was pregnant with my first daughter, my dad telling me the best thing that I can do is to give my full and complete attention to my daughter every time she tries to communicate to me.
Amen.
Yes. And I mean, those are my words, because it's now been actually on February 7th, it will have been 18 years. She'll turn 18 years old. So I've forgotten what he said exactly, but that's what he impressed, that children want to be heard and understood, and just stop and listen to what they have to say at all ages. That was his advice.
And you know what? He could not have given you any better advice. Unfortunately, there are so many parents that are so consumed with their own lives and the things that they're doing that their children are not being heard. And when you consider the second cause of death for 10-year-olds to 34-year-olds is suicide, parents have got to be more engaged in their children's lives. And that's why I actually have a workshop coming up on February 4th, and it's entitled How to Avoid Crushing Your Child's Self-Esteem and Confidence and Dreams. And I want to encourage parents to please sign up for this workshop. It's on February 4th, and it is online, and you can find it. If you go to my link tree, it is the first link in my link tree, and that's bit.ly Vera Thomas. So bit.ly Vera Thomas. So please go to that link and sign up for the workshop. It's 2 hours, but you're going to get a wealth of information and an opportunity to kind of look at, okay, how am I communicating with my children? How am I engaging with my children? Does my child show signs of lack of confidence or self-esteem? Are they more reticent? Have you noticed a change in their attitudes or their behaviors? If so, come to my workshop on February 4th. I just wanted to plug that right quick. And when we think about how, I think I remember being in the company of 5 teenagers in one night. 5 teenagers in one night. And they were all races, all genders. Mm-hmm. And out of those 5 children, only one of them had a decent relationship with their parents. And we can't wait until a child is in middle school or high school to try to shape them and change them. It starts before they're even born. There are things that we can do to begin to instill greatness in our children.
Absolutely. And I had an internet issue there for a minute. But I do want to make sure that everyone knows how to sign up for the workshop on the February 4th. What time zone is it and what time is it?
It's noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's just 2 hours, but I'm telling you, you're going to get a wealth of information. I promise you.
Well, absolutely. As we just heard, even what you said, and it's funny when you said 5 teenagers. I had 4 teenagers because I have 2 teenage daughters, and they had friends on, I think, the Martin Luther holiday here. And it was, it was a joy to me just to kind of be around it. I'm graduating my oldest this year, so I know, I don't have many more months. Thank you. But, bittersweet, excited for her, but a little sad for me, of course. But, I have many regrets in the parenting that I've done, but I also have many, I'm very happy with, the fruit right now. Like you were talking so great about your son, at the end of the day, as a believer, I know God's taken care of them and God's helped parenting them and filling in places where I, lacked. But, we all, I want to think that every parent starts in a place of wanting just nothing but the best for their child. Right. And then we're humans, and then we try our best, and then we succumb to pressures and all of that because we're human. And then we rise above it because we're human.
Yeah. Right? And there's no roadmap for being a parent.
Right.
And we can't beat ourselves up for things we don't know. When we know better, we do better. But in the process, I made mistakes. Trust me.
Right.
I made mistakes where my son was concerned. And also, do you know that there are over 100 scriptures in the Bible regarding children?
I didn't know over 100.
Yes. Wow. Yes. Wow. And it's a roadmap. It can be a roadmap, for how we raise our children.
Yep, we can hang on to that. But no, I'm very excited for your workshop and for you to, download to the attendees, what you've known, what you've learned, what has worked. And, our mission statement at Now Publishing from day one, which we're starting our 7th year in 60 days, we'll start our 7th year. I remember the day and where I was when we said, let's start Now Publishing. But our mission statement has always been to publish the voice of purpose. And publish is not necessarily just a book. publishes also in your online workshop, right? Where you're publishing your content, you're speaking your content. So I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for anyone that goes to your workshop. And
Thank you.
no, and all that you have to say. And even in the brief time we've known each other, you've been giving me sharing your wisdom with me. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Well, we're getting towards the end of the show, and I'm sorry that we've had some tech difficulties, but it is what it is. And we're just going to start these now conversations every other Saturday at 9:30 to 10 with authors. So I hope that people will jump on. We'll be on LinkedIn Live, and we're on Facebook Live. But Vera, I'd like to ask you the last question. And the last question then is, as I mentioned, our company mission statement. What is your purpose?
My purpose, thank you for asking that question. My purpose is to uplift, encourage, motivate, inspire, and educate. That is my purpose. And I try to do that no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, because it's not just because it's my career or it's my profession, but it's what God intends for me to do. So it doesn't matter whether I'm in a grocery store or I'm doing a training. If I can say something that's going to encourage, uplift, motivate, inspire, and or educate, that's my purpose. And right now, that purpose lies within working with parents and their children. Having grown up with no confidence or self-esteem myself, and hearing all these negative tapes, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're fat, you're ugly, you're nothing, you'll never be anything. Hearing those things, I don't want any child to ever feel like I felt hearing those things. And so that's why what I'm doing with parents and children is so important to me. And again, when you consider all the things that children are going through these days, I mean, it's just, and parents, even things that parents are going through and the stresses that they're experiencing and the attitudes and the unresolved issues that they're bringing into parenting that impact on their kids. That is just so important to me. The awareness precedes change. And when we know better, we do better. And I know I said a lot more.
No, thank you for thank you for all of that. And I also am putting in the chat right now, so when this broadcast and we repost it, your phone number that they can text you, and it's Vera Thomas. Your bit.ly is easy, Vera Thomas. And if you want to connect with her, she's on LinkedIn. She's also a famous TV host, so of her own show or live stream show. You'll find her, especially on LinkedIn and everything, on Vera Thomas. So thank you.
Thank you. And you're going to be on my show. Yes. Let's plug
right.
this. You're going to be on my show on the 31st at 8 o'clock.
Yes. And that is live streamed also, right?
And that's live streamed. Yes. And I'm excited. I'm excited.
Can't get enough of us, right? Oh, yes. Great. And thank you, Giovanni and Gerald and the others that are watching it. And great. Finish up your coffee. Make it a great Saturday. Yes. Thank you for joining Now Conversations.
Thank you. Bye-bye.